Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony you will give, so help you God?
I do. Hey, yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Rozelle, and I'm here with my boy
Roman Christopher.
I'm also here with my boy.
Yiko.
And you already know what it is, yo. This is 860's Blunt Truth, where we tell nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and only the truth. Let's get it. Yo, mama, that going, papa, that wrong. That nigga right there was a deadbeat. That shit right there made me headstrong. Big her brother be bugging. He come with a bunch of drama.
I am your moderator slash instigator, Roman Christopher.
And this is Yiko, and that is Rozelle. And yeah, they hear the battle. You know why? I'm gonna make sure of it. Nah. All right, so we usually start off with Truth Hurts with Yiko,
Truth
Truth
Told with Rozelle, then we cap it off with Truth Is.
Get right into it.
We
We
wasted
wasted
mad
mad
time
time
to
to
set this shit up for y'all, man. We be getting
frustrated
frustrated
as
just for
hell just
y'all.
for y'all. It's crazy.
Do that.
Right?
Man, this has been crazy as fuck. 2 hours to set up, y'all. 2 fucking hours. And this time we did it on our phones to try to make it easier. And this program's still giving us problems.
So it's something.
Always.
You know what it is, guys? It's the devils. They don't want us giving out the information to the peoples. So y'all just know that we don't give up until we able to give y'all what y'all need. And that's that knowledge.
It's facts. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Yiko, what you got for us? This is Truth Hurts.
So we started with the Truth Hurts today, y'all. And I got an interesting topic that I think y'all might take a little closer to heart than most. So I've been listening to a few podcasts, and I found this gentleman by the name of Ethan Reynolds. And he talks about having grown up in a family that's essentially Luciferian, cultist. That there are multiple families out there who are part of this coven, trade children amongst each other to um, breed them into what they need them to be. And so during some of his podcasts, he brought up quite a few names that he said these deities aren't actually gods. They portray themselves as gods, and these families do pray to these beings. These beings do exist in the physical and in the metaphysical, and the realms beyond, and so on. Um, and one of the names that he mentioned was Yahweh. And, he mentioned like the Lady of the Lake. He's mentioned that there are dragons that live on the ground that people worship and send sacrifices to. He talks about a lot of different things, sort of in the realm of what I speak on. I do believe in magic. I do believe that words and prayers have power, all that stuff. So because in his interviews he happened to mention Yahweh, and I remember that Rozelle had spoke on Yahweh, and that that's the guy that he prays to. I wanted to know how he felt about this topic. Does he feel that there's any validity behind what this guy is talking about? Is he being for real? Is he just a proof? Um, again, I'd like to believe that a lot of these things aren't false, only because I feel in my heart of hearts, whatever they taught us is wrong. It's meant to be taught wrong. It's meant to be interpreted incorrectly because it's a spiritual war, and the objective is to corrupt the human soul as much as humanly possible to prove that we are not worthy of God's love. So with that being said, I want to hand it over to Rozelle, see what Rozelle got to say about this, but I'm sure he's got a lot of interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty interesting. First of all, the whole Yahweh thing, you know what I'm saying, that threw me off because we have recently, come to understand or to believe that Yahweh Shai is the name of the Father. And they explain it with the whole human DNA being made up of YHWH. You know what I'm saying? And then later on, they added vowels to that to make it Yahweh, and that when you breathe, you actually speak the name. If you think about it, if you take a deep breath, so you're actually saying Yahweh with every breath you take. So for him to say that that's actually a deity and not a good one, it's shocking to me. You know what I'm saying? But see, that's the thing about it. There's so many different names for the Father because they know, like Dyko just said, there's word, there's power in words. And if you use a certain words a certain way, you actually activate energy within this planet that we live in, whether it be good energy or bad energy. And that's the reason why they changed his name and has leaked so many different names because there's power in the name. So if you are actually praying to a deity and not the Father, we are all committing sins. We have to understand that this is a sin we are committing because we are raising false idolatries. You know what I'm saying? False idols. And the book says, no, thou shalt not praise no other but me. So that was strange. I mean, as far as the whole family of demons and all that, yeah, so many angels, fallen angels, followed Lucifer when he was banished. You know what I'm saying? So when he got banished, he was able to bring along a bunch of demons that still, what I'm saying, have influence on the human man. So what we got to do is understand that we are not alone out here. And if you don't live a righteous path, then you are allowing yourself to possibly become, a subject or a prisoner to one of these deities' influence. So it's mandatory that we walk the right paths, guys. You know what I'm saying? And do your due diligence to find out the Father's true name because there's so many of them and there's power in that. There's Yahuwah, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, there's Jehovah. You know what I'm saying? Allah. Which one of these, and there's more, but which one of those six names that I just mentioned is really is? And do we know for a fact it is?
Well, now, if you don't mind me stepping in, but like a lot of the Gnostic research that I've been doing, they say that the one true being that created all things, even the false guys that proclaim themselves to be gods, can't go by one name, so they usually call it just the one or the source or the entity that created all, the being of light. Those are just some of the names that were loosely translated into a language that we can understand. But they had certain names that were so above all the other words because there was no other way to describe this entity otherwise. So like that word, like whenever they use it, specifically meant just the one that created everything, all of reality and non-reality, physical and non-physical. So I'm curious if you've done any research on Gnostic teachings yet, and if you've read anything about that.
I've actually not done any research in Gnostic religion. I'm not to sit here and lie to y'all and say that I have, and I'm well versed in it. I be spreading falsities. I have not done any research whatsoever about the Gnostic beliefs. And that's the problem with the world. We have so many different beliefs. Which one is actually the right one? That's the question I would like to ask you guys. If you listen in the comment, we ask you guys to comment in the comment and you guys hardly ever do. Big ups to those who have the time to leave us a comment. A few people left comments. A couple people left more than one comment, and we here at Aces Blunt Truth appreciate you. But for those who have left a comment or who haven't, we're asking you to make today the very first time you do something different. Leave a comment. What do you believe is the name of the Father and why? 'Cause I can honestly sit there and say that I'm not sure of what his name is now, that I've heard so many different names and so many explanations. So I would love to hear what you call the Father and why you call him that and why you believe that how you address him is the true way he should be addressed. Please leave a comment. I'm asking you guys from the bottom of my heart. Please leave a comment. I would love to know the name of your father. I want to see if we share something in common.
Going over to Roman Christopher.
Um, I'm gonna pass the question off to you. I know you're the host and the moderator and the instigator and all that good stuff, but I love to hear from you as well. And
You got turn your mic off, brother.
I thought I did.
Yep, the echo's gone. Word. Okay, so because I love to hear your opinion, and I know you've done a lot of your own research as far as different religions and cultures. You even put me on to a lot of things, which is really broadened my mind and made me think the way that I do. So I want to hear from you what you think about this.
I mean, when I think of it, I think of anything can be possible. I personally don't feel like anybody really truly knows, because it's like, who has actually met our creator and been able to live to tell us about it, or even remember the fact that they met him. You know what I'm saying? Like him, her, it, something. But I do know one thing for sure: is it's the source of our power. Like, it's the source. And I, when I think of a name, I think that's the only name that can possibly fit. Because personally, when we're all born nameless. Nobody's born with a name. We're given a name by somebody or whatever the case may be, but we're not born with any name. So who's to say our creator even has a name? His name could be Aum. You know what I'm saying? Because every time somebody meditates, they be like, you know what I'm saying? It could be anything. It could be anything. So it could literally be anything. So who's to say? But because when you think about it, I mean, even Lucifer himself has many names. He has a bunch of names that's like, who's to say the names we give him are names that are of high power and praise, and every time we say that name and we refer to him, they're giving him strength. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything, to be honest with you. But as far as these deities and entities, I do believe they're a real thing. I believe that everything that we can think of is possibly real, but I do believe that in the spirit world, I do know that's real. I don't know how many people have actually lived to see these things and tell about it, but I do know people have, because I know I've seen them. I know I've witnessed them myself. You know what I'm saying? And I go through sleep paralysis a lot. I feel like that's a cross between our world and the spiritual world, and they try to minimize it and say it's all in the brain, but I believe it's in the middle line of our world and the spirit world, and which is basically where I've seen things. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe it's true. I do believe that a lot of what that guy might be saying is true, but I don't know if I can believe everything that he's spoken. At the end of the day, people make shit up, and some people actually live it. So he could, who's this? Who, we don't really know this guy, so we don't know if his personality is an exaggerated personality. We don't know if it's for cloud. We don't know what it could be, but all I know is, like, we all believe in something, and you believe in what you believe in, man. Don't let anybody change your mind on what you believe in unless it makes sense and you feel it's something that changes your belief a little bit and opens your mind up to something else. But always keep your mind open to learn something else, because there's knowledge in everything. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
Wow, this is blunt truth, but damn, this is the truth. Let me tell you, I believe in some of the things that he's talking about, because a lot of it rings true from some of the Gnostic readings that I've been finding myself, and knowing that actually Judah, who in the version of the Bible is supposed to be the betrayer of Jesus, was actually the one who elevated Jesus, because according to Gnostic teachings, the reason why Jesus was sacrificed and Judah was the one that had to do it is because the reality is this realm, this physical world, is made this way to tie you to it. And in order for you to escape from this realm, you have to leave the physical behind. That means your physical self, your valuables, your family, all of that stuff, because the reality is it all comes back to one source, including the ones that are trying to keep you from the source. You know what I'm saying? They're due to go back as well. And they're trying to prevent that. But no matter what happens, in the end, we all go back to the beginning. So, is your mic on?
Yeah, that's all right now. Because people want to see me. Let me ask you a question. So, hearing what you just said, and the key is leaving behind your worldly possessions, right? Yeah, everything. You gotta leave it all behind. Why did the pharaohs and wealthy people all take their most prized possession to the grave with them?
We see that's funny that you mentioned that.
They talked about that. And this is from a different show and a different source, but they talked about the pyramids having been sources to. They were actually machines, and they were machines built to produce electricity. They were designed to. Um, they were machines that they used for power, for energy, and the story that they fed to us for hundreds of years is that these were tombs that were designed for burials of kings and so on and so forth. But when they went in there, they only found a few bodies, and there's no way to authenticate that those bodies are actually officially mummified bodies from that point in era, or if it was just, a bunch of cadavers that they made up to look that way and then planted there to. So there's a lot of theories behind it, but the truth is they have proven that those
Those
structures
structures
have
have
designs
designs
that
that look
awfully
awfully
close
close
to
to
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
Tesla's
Tesla's
designs.
So then I don't know. It's just weird because I seen unearthing of tombs when we found King Tut back in like what year was that? When they found it, they could have all been smoking mirrors, but they had valuables in the tomb with them. It wasn't just corpses. It wasn't always just a corpse. I agree that the pyramid was more than a tombstone. But I believe it was also a tombstone as well for the rich and powerful. You know what I'm saying? Uh, for the rich and powerful, because there have been sarcophagus, sarcophagus, sarcophagus. That's the word, right? Yeah, sarcophagus. Sarcophaguses. That's the word. Found.
The guy.
I don't know. I mean, I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a goddamn rocket science. I'm just logical. But there were, I can say, coffins. See, they weren't called coffins back then. So try keeping it authentic.
Canadian.
Huh?
Say Canadian.
Yeah, say Connecticut.
Canadian.
Anyway, them niggas was buried with jewels. They were buried with jewels. You know what I'm saying? Some of the jewels are in the Boston, the Bostonian right now. You know what I'm saying? Locked away.
Right, but don't forget.
Don't forget though, in their beliefs, as the way that they were portrayed to us is that they believe that for them to move on and pay the toll to get into heaven, they need to come with enough. You gotta mute your mic.
No. I was taught they believed that they was coming back one day, and that's why they kept their fucking their organs in an urn. inside the burial site with them. They would have the motherfuckers. They take their heart out, their livers, they this, they that. They would put them in urns and give them by the body. So when they returned, it'll be there for them. That was their belief.
So what's crazy about that? You might hang your mic off talking. I can talk about the echo. Um, yeah. So what's fun because I never heard that. Well, I've never heard the version from the Egyptian story, but if you look at Jesus' story and the fact that he believed he was going to come back 3 days later, he could have undergone the same process. It was probably kept out of the book. Like, we don't know because he did go through Egypt and through many other countries in the Eastern Europe area and practice different religions from different cultures. And he had realized, according to the Gnostic teachings, that when he put all these practices together and you do them in a certain sequence together, it opens you up to to God's world being, the realm that we live in plus the spiritual realm, and it helps you bridge a gap so that you can find ways to communicate with the higher power. And so if those teachings are correct, and that basically means that Egyptians were of pigmented color. Two, they had technology far beyond what we have and utilize today because everything was ran on natural, perpetual energy that was renewable and non-toxic. Three, part of their teachings are correct, but because the teachings are broken up, only part of it is correct. So if you really want to know all of the teachings, you need to study under, like India, learn the Buddhist side of things, learn in China, like the medicines and the herbals, like everything works hand in hand. And when he realized that, he passed those teachings on to his apostles. But according to the Gnostic teachings, Judah was the only one who really truly understood. And that's the reason why Jesus left him with the mission to sacrifice his life, because it goes against God's will for you to take your own. But Jesus needed to become a martyr for the sake of the people. And so Judah was assigned by Jesus to give him up. And then after he was tortured and he went through what he went through, he died. He was resurrected 3 days later, which proved Judah correct. But they needed to paint Judah as evil.
Hold up. Let me remember. You're saying that Judas, who betrayed Yeshua, or at the story that you guys know, I'm gonna say the way you guys know it, so it makes sense to you, that betrayed Jesus for 13 pieces of silver, was instructed to do so by Jesus himself.
If we're to believe the Gnostics and what they're saying, yes. Can I prove that that is the case? Absolutely not. But if I'm to assume that everything that we've been taught in our entire lives is either a lie or reverse of the truth, because the objective is to win our souls over. So how do you do that? You teach us the opposite of what's not okay to be okay, rather than what is decreed by the creator as okay to be not okay, or to just be flexible. Like, sure, you don't have to take a life, but if it's in self-defense, it's okay. But the book doesn't say that. The book says taking a life, period, including your own, goes against everything. So, like the way the Gnostics put it, when you do that, you're writing your story instead of letting your story play out. And everybody is meant to suffer under God's guidance until you are brought to heaven, because life isn't easy. And there's lessons to be learned before you can reach. Like, you have to respect life. And so you have to suffer in this life to move on, because if you move on without respecting this life and being carefree, you can't respect anything. anything else that's created outside of this realm.
Now, let me jump in real quick. Because you talking about life and all that, you know what I'm saying? Um, do you think that maybe sometimes life and the way it ends is like way worse than it should be? And I say that because I don't know if you guys heard about this. And it could be fake news, but I don't think it is because it's been on a few different channels. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Like I said, they found like 34, was it? 34. It could be more, it could be less. I think it's more though. Men washed up on shore. Hispanic men washed up on shore, yo. Both, both handcuffed and shackled. And now get this: the plane they use to transport the immigrants to the different countries is cargo planes and not regular planes that open up in the back. And like 34 men have washed up on the shore, handcuffed and shackled, dead. Now, if that's the case, that would probably mean that in the middle of the flight somewhere over one of the big oceans, they just opened up the goddamn cargo, the back door, and still niggas to get out while they were shackled and handcuffed, Joe. That's crazy.
That goes back to
I was telling my kids recently, I said, how do you take over a small village? Is by first you go in, you wipe out all the men. Anybody who could potentially oppose you in any way, shape, or form. And then you have the scared women and the weak children. And you beat the children into submission and you break the women down and you stay in power. And these people who are being migrated by our government are winding up on cargo ships on shore dead, and we're doing nothing about it. We're praising them for doing those things. And these are the reasons why we will all go to hell together when the time comes if we do not start to recognize these things and make changes.
I'm not praising none of that shit, bro.
I want to emphasize something real quick before you guys go on, because I know we spoke a little bit about this before and how the Bible specifically says you can't murder, but it says nothing about. So, all right. So, it says here the Bible distinguishes between killing and murder. While it does forbid murder, it also acknowledges situations where killing is permitted, such as in self-defense or during warfare. The original Hebrew word translated as kill in the Ten Commandments is more accurately rendered as murder, which refers to unlawful, intentional killing. The Sixth Commandment specifically, and Deuteronomy and Exodus forbid murder. The Hebrew word is used as rasach, which means to kill unlawfully or intentionally. The Bible acknowledges that not all killing is murder. Examples included in the Bible is a self-defense. If someone is in danger of losing their life and kills the attacker, it is not considered murder. The second is warfare. God specifically commanded the Israelites to wage war and kill their enemies, indicating that killing in the context of warfare is distinct from murder. Capital punishment. The Bible outlines circumstances where the death penalty is a just punishment for certain crimes which involve killing. The role of intent is the intent behind the act. The intent behind the act is a key factor in determining whether an act of killing constitutes murder, unlawful, intentional killing, and murder. Love as the fulfilling of the law is ultimately the Bible emphasizes love as the foundation of all commandments, including the one against murder. Acts of murder which lack love are a violation of this principle. So that's all I had to say. I just wanted to go back to
But do you see how it contradicts itself? Where if you look at it through the eyes of an innocent child, the first thing you hear is God says, "Thou shalt not kill," right? But here come the Jews introduced into the situation. And these are the real Jews, as Razel pointed out before, and this is true. These are the Greek took over the whatever Jewish population that's now trying to control religion and rewrite it. So now they write it in an addendum. It's okay though if, you know, somebody wages war on you and you're defending yourself, but if no killing is okay, that person that's waging war should not be waging war anyway, right? If killing was okay, then why didn't Jesus just stand up for himself and eradicate everybody through with God's power? Like a lot of things are contradicting. This is why I take it what it has true, and then I have to look at the Gnostic teaching, put it together, and say, okay, this is what I really think is going on, and I think a lot of this is bullshit.
And you have a point and shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think when the whole thou shalt not kill part of the commandments was written, honestly, it was a different time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was just a different time. People were just starting to get into sinning. You know what I'm saying? Like most people back then were still devout. You know what I'm saying? That they still, you know what I'm saying, follow. They still obeyed, and a lot of people just started to turn away because they just started learning about all this shit. See, with us in this generation, we're born into the bullshit, and then and you gotta find us. You gotta find him. See, back then he was everywhere, and niggas had to go find the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that whole "Thou shalt not kill" would have been a whole different commandment if written in 2025.
You see? Now, with you saying that, what you're telling me is that if you can't follow the first rule of the commandment and things change, then that means that what God said for there to be is now wrong. Is that accurate?
No, that's not entirely wrong because when God when the Father I don't use that word God, but when the Father had instructed this, you know what I'm saying, he was still very much prevalent to the earth. You know what I'm saying? What happened is after a few hundred years, a few thousand years, the devil has found a way to insert his influence everywhere. See, back then, everybody lived like people say, you go to somewhere out there in Pakistan, or whatever. I'm just saying because they're really devout, the Muslims. So you go somewhere over there somewhere, and you got people praying 7 times a day, living a certain way. Women are wearing long wearing long ass dresses and shit, not showing their face. But then all of a sudden now, you say, yo, I know y'all niggas is hurting over here in Pakistan. I say Pakistan. I'm saying they've been getting bombed up. I know y'all heard trying to rebuild. Tell you what we gonna do. We gonna throw a strip show downtown. What? Yeah, we gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Now they flying some chicks. They flying some chicks. Then it's not from Pakistan. And the Pakistan niggas is giving money. Now they said the Pakistan women, hey, if you want to, you can dance. You got a nice body. Now they start doing it. Now you got a couple strip joints around. Then a nigga say, you know what? I'm trying to build some revenue so you guys can win some fast money. Build a couple casinos. You throw that out there. Now they got boxing and shit going on. And then once shit like that is everywhere, it's hard to be the same people who grew up all their life seeking God as this is into a regiment because now there's so much influence. What I'm saying is that The devil's influence on the world today and his influence on the world back then is completely different. That's what I'm saying.
If all right, so now if that's the case, then what I'm hearing is that see my God wrote all this stuff out. He knew all this was gonna happen, the good and the bad, right? He also knew that he guaranteed his win. How could he know that? Because the good and the bad are him. But the choice is the free will is still ours. It's up to us whether it ends good or bad. And a lot of the things that are happening have been taught to us coming from a perspective of bad, made to look good. The things that we were meant to be doing or the way that we were meant to be living made to look foolish and outdated or stupid, crazy. I think we gotta start to recognize that the world we live in and the reality that we believe, like all these material things that we talked about with the Egyptians and whatever else, it's got to be smoke and mirrors. It's got to be like, okay, let's plant this like this. Because if they've been at it for thousands of years, which we all agree they have been, the church, the government, and whatever else, they've been doing it for thousands of years. They've had time to plant things like jewelry and texts and certain parts of this and little bits of that, and to buy time until the end of the war for the souls comes and they have the winning number. Because that's what I think it really boils down to. I think that they have to give us the information. It's a part of the rules of the war between heaven and hell. We have to be given the information so we can make a choice. But they can hide that choice behind deception, and that's okay. It's up to us to make the choice of, are we going to allow these things to happen, or are we going to stand up for each other, treat each other well, and move on from this material world, knowing that these evil beings are here to stay behind and cannot move forward.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying makes sense. What you're saying makes a bunch of sense, but at the same time, you have to understand. I mean, God, they said, is a vengeful God. Uh, he has been known to smite. He will smite some shit. You know what I'm saying? He don't fuck around. God will come through whole cities. Oh, you wanna act wrong? Smite it. You know what I'm saying? So with knowing that he is a father that will make it happen, I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if you were trying to live righteous and you had a family, and this goes even goes from back then. You had a family and some men came in and they were mutilating your daughter and wife while they held you, and you had a chance to break free and grab a blade and get rid of them to protect you and your family. I'm pretty sure that at the end of the day, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then I will deal with that with him. But I'm pretty sure that and if you had to do that to protect yourself, at the end of the day, when you stand in front of me, be like, yo, you know, I saw what you did, bro. The three guys, when you off them, I saw that. I want to say something to you. He'd be like, what? Why'd you wait so long? Why'd you let them get your daughter and wife first? You should have did it a little sooner. I ain't mad at you. If that had been me, I'd have got him sooner. I ain't mad at you though. Because I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't want someone to go through that. Whether they lived or not, if they had a chance to change the situation. And it wasn't like I said, it wasn't murder. It was something that you never planned to do. It was something that happened caused by certain situations, certain circumstance. So with that being said, I mean, I don't know what he would say. You know what I'm saying? But it's a difference between self-defense and murder.
Yeah, my bad. Figured that turn on my mic. I agree with you, bro. Honestly, personally, yeah, they gotta go. So that's how I feel. Man. They gotta go. Cause yo, like I'm a big believer that our spirit, or our soul, whatever people want to call it, the spirit, the soul, the energy. Everybody confuse it for something else or just thinks it's something. Or whatever the case may be, it lives on. It's not gonna go nowhere. It's gonna come back or it's gonna go somewhere else. It lives on. But it lives with what you go through as you start going through these different places. So like right now, we're here on Earth in the physical. This is one of our stops. We're here to learn. We're here to go through things. We're here to express love, to learn hate, to learn all this stuff. And it's going to be rendered into our soul. You know what I'm saying? Like a computer. It's going to be rendered into our soul. Whether we go somewhere else and we remember what our past life was or not, it still makes us who we are, and it's going to build um, within that next life, and then that next life, and then that next life. And personally, I don't want to stay in my soul with any kind of regrets, because even if, let's just say, like for example, you let them live and now your whole family got slaughtered and somehow you survived, now you're dealing with pure regret of not saving your family, and that's gonna stay in your soul. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna live with that for the rest of eternity. You know what I'm saying? No matter how you live with it, and it's going to determine who you become down the road, and you could end up actually becoming somebody evil down the road because of things like that. You know what I'm saying? Because all that pain and all that, you know what I'm saying? And it just takes over you eventually. You don't even know why. Like, you know? So personally, I feel like the right thing to do is to save your loved ones, especially if they're in harm, even if it is the physical, and it's not going to follow us in the next life. We're here now. You know what I'm saying? And what we do now determines what's going to happen for us in the future, I believe. So I'm not letting my family get slaughtered. I'm sorry, personally. And to Razel's point, if that makes me have to face our Creator and say, I want to make it to heaven, but He decides I'm not going to because of it. As long as my family's gonna make it to heaven, I mean, granted, I don't. Nobody ever want to go to hell. Me personally, I don't believe hell exists. That's just me. Not the hell that they speak of, anyway. I believe we're going through a lot of it already. But at the end of the day, bro, I gotta put my loved ones first, and that's just I gotta fight for mine. That's just how I feel. So I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, I feel the sentiments of what you're saying. It's not that I don't understand it. But it takes me back to the other standpoint. It's putting stock into the physical world again that you're not supposed to do. So it's like it kind of contradicts itself. And that's why it's hard to find that line, because emotionally we're designed to be very like protective. Like if somebody else something like that, yes, I'd be right there. Like just like you guys said. So that's what I'm saying is that Jesus' teachings are harder than you would think, because it's hard to just like go to the realm. Like I'll put it to you like this, as an example. What if you were in this life, right, and it felt so real, but you were actually in a VR simulator that was designed to test you to see how you would do if you were given a life on this point. And if you, by the time that your time came in the VR, you open up that helmet and you're like, oh shit, that shit was so real. I thought it was real. And they're like, yeah, you failed too. Do it again. You know what I mean? So basically, I guess what I'm saying is like, if the helmet came off right now and none of this was actually real, could we say to ourselves, did we do everything that we were supposed to, how we were supposed to while we were here or not? And if the first line says, thou shalt not kill, and then fallen angels come and start adding addendums like they do to the Constitution, they just start adding things in their favor. You know what I mean? Like who's to say if what you guys are saying is real or false, because we have all feelings. It's hard to fight.
Yeah, but at the same time, once again, thou shalt not kill, right? You got to think about it. Remember what we said? There's power in words. There's power in words, and words mean everything. Thou shalt not kill. I believe those group of words, being an analyst of words, doing the poet, musician, songwriter, all that shit. Words is I understand the power of words. Thou shalt not kill. Numero uno. That means, I believe, once again, that means you don't fill the clip up, throw it in the gun, cock it back, and go outside with a chip on your shoulder. And the first motherfucker says something to you wrong, you just pull out and bang bang, or you pull a knife out and stabby stabby. You know what I'm saying? That's killing. But now let me ask you a question. If that was what God meant, right? And and you're fighting with somebody and you pick a stick up and it breaks, and then you're holding it, and you're scared, and they run and charge you, and they land on it, and it goes through them, and they die. Did you kill that person? I mean,
Yeah, but the sixth commandment literally says, "Thou shalt not murder." That's what it says. Thou shalt not murder, and it says specifically, taking away of our own life or our neighbors unjustly.
hold on. Once again, there's powers in words. Can you please, for the people in the back who did not hear that, can you please read that again? 'Cause there's a word in there. There's a word in there that pretty much solidifies what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what the word is too. But yeah, it says, "You shall not murder." Thou shalt not murder, which is basically saying you can't take our own life or our neighbor's life unjustly or whatsoever hereunto. So yeah, thou shalt not murder, man. Unjustly.
Give this guy a prize and a goddamn gold star. Unjustly, my boy. That is definitely the word. Unjustly. Which means if you were in a brawl and you didn't mean to kill somebody, but you kind of had to because you were trying to save your life. Isn't saving your life justified? You're not going out just shooting some random person, like I said, or stabbing some random person you're having a bad day. Someone's trying to attack you, kill you, take what belongs to you for no reason at all, and all you can do is try to defend yourself, and they end up dying. I think that's justified. It's called self-defense.
But that's what I'm trying to say though. Like, if none of this is supposed to matter because the higher life is where you're trying to get to, then even if they did kill this physical body, what matters is that your spirit is so cleansed that you have no sin at all, that you can move forward and
I don't think a lot of us have the Jesus gene, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we don't have that, bro. Like you can take your shit off. We can have a debate. They can flip back and forth because we don't have that. So you're saying that regardless, regardless, somebody should just do what Jesus did. Let them whip him, let them beat him, let them fuck him up. All the while, just pray to the Father as they walk you down to to the tree or whatever to go end your life, you should just pray to God and have Him walk with you while the whole time you got a chance to defend yourself. Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's right, yo.
You know, you know why I agree because so I'm gonna tell you a couple. There's a couple things. Because there's also a saying. Is that? Yeah. There's also a saying, right? That God also wants you to do for yourself, right? He's not gonna do everything for you. Because if that's the case, you're just going to sit back and let him do every single thing. So it's like, yeah, patience is a virtue, but sometimes you got to know when to not be patient and go do it yourself because God ain't going to do everything for you. He doesn't want to have to support everybody only. He wants you to do for yourself too. But what I get from that saying, well, not the saying, the sixth commandment is the reason I feel like I was just really just sitting back and analyzing it, and I was really thinking about it, like try to get deeper into it. It specifically says you can't take your own life or your neighbor's life unjustly or whatsoever thereunto, right? So what I got from that is the reason why these things are um, punishment worthy is because our life isn't our life. Our life was given to us to borrow from our Creator. So if we take our own life, we're taking something that's not even ours like as if it is ours. And if we take somebody else's life for no reason, we just took somebody else's life that's not theirs either, that is our creators. But now if they attack us and we take their life, we're kind of in a situation where it's like, are you going to take what God gave me or our creator gave me? And I might not want to take what God gave you or our creator gave you, but right now I have to because you're trying to take mine. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what the problem is when it comes to separating killing and murder, specifically because, for example, people that overdose, right? Like, I was one that did. I'm not gonna sit here and shit for none. I was one that did for 2 hours. I felt like I was going to a shitty place. Like I couldn't tell if it was hell or not, but the energy ain't feel good. And technically, I was taking my own life because I chose to do what I was doing to OD that at that time. You know what I'm saying? So technically, that's suicide. So who's to say like that's not the real thing? You know what I'm saying? But I basically was like shitting on what I was gifted. It's all right. You don't want that, then you don't want eternal.
And I know we could debate on this like topic probably the entire show. And it is getting late. We do have some place to be in a little bit, and somebody that I need to meet who's outside currently. So I will have to exit. But I just wanted to end with I think that's just part of the game. That's how we have to look at life. Is that we have to remember that it's a choice between do we believe in the physical realm and what it brings us, all the things that are attachable to our soul that we shouldn't take with us versus just being a clean soul and whatever happens, yeah, but you know what, you have faith that. Like, what if you get into a situation, somebody wants to shoot you, and you have a chance to kill them, but you choose not to, and then their gun jams, or it backfires and it kills them instead. Like because you made a choice to not take that person's life, and you had faith in the one who could have saved you, but because you chose to take that life instead, now you protected yourself, but you committed a sin rather than allowing the ones to take care of you for you like you did.
And you know, my boy are
What he
going to
said.
heaven. You are going to heaven. You're like so Jesus-y. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel like definitely going to hell. Jesus Christ. This dude that said, what if you go shoot him and his gun jams and blows up and kills him? That is something that I choose not to gamble on. Fuck, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? He got his gun on me, and I got one on. He got his gun on him. I got one on me, and I'm allowed, or I get a chance to get mine first and pull first. Shit. Nah.
I mean, he could be right. You know,
That's
like
nice. I mean, I mean, he could be right, you know, like anybody could be right. I mean, beliefs are beliefs, and you know, nobody's. I don't feel like anybody's really wrong. You don't know the real answer, the real truth, but, I mean, I think that's situational, bro. I think it's a possibility that something like that could happen, but I feel like when that moment comes, you're gonna know. It's just what it is. You gotta know what you gotta do and what's gonna happen. But yo, we're probably gonna have to
Yeah,
do a
I
two
was
piece
I was
segment,
thinking the
bro.
same thing. I was thinking we cut it here, we come back a little later after we had a few burgers and shit. Don't celebrate July 4th, but you know what I'm saying? As a holiday, but it's definitely a good day to have burgers on. You know what I'm saying? And talk some shit. So we gotta go do that. Then we'll come back a little later with part two. And just like last year, hopefully we get their moms on and get her opinion on my topic because it affects the whole world. Not like the story of God and stuff like that doesn't, but this affects everybody right now. And I just want to know what she thinks about it. So hopefully we get her on later on, and we'll be back with a little more on the 4th of this month. And we'll see you then.
It's your boy Yaiko. Remember, like, subscribe, share, and comment below. This is A6O's Blunt Truth. We out.